Okay, so I want to talk about Bitcoin and Mara stock, but primarily, rather, we are going to be looking at new all-time highs on Bitcoin real soon, and what are the signs that the low is in, and of course, how does this correlate with Bitcoin? But just remember, guys, in this video, I'm just sharing my opinions. I'm not telling anyone to copy. Again, I'm just showing you guys my opinion. It's very important you do your own due diligence. But either way, to get started, for quite a while now, if you guys been watching, I've been stressing the importance of this overlapping support area, both with a bearish extension in blue and then the red overall retracement, factoring in the last major swing low, which was down here at in the high 90s. So going forward now, I kept saying that I like to accumulate early because it's the weekend. As you can see throughout the weekend, we saw Bitcoin have massive volume. The US stock market's closed. I can't add more or trade BitU, but I showed you guys what the position looks like a video or two ago, and I haven't changed it whatsoever. Um, so that position is getting ready for the possibility of Bitcoin going up to $128,000. That's the next fib extension on the overall bull cycle estimate I have. So 128K is the next target. So far, we've been looking for a overall proper retracement so we can have more confidence, not just with, we've seen aggressive rallies, and then, we got to see somewhat of an aggressive correction as well, but still within reasonable price areas. So these two overlapping areas, again, I kept saying, I wouldn't be surprised. In my opinion, it's very high probability that we not just go into the red, but try to find support around this blue area. Now, as of right now, we have seen the RSI max out to the bottom side. We also saw a recent rally throughout today that pushed Bitcoin above this micro resistance. So there was a small picture swing high. We broke over and we're still holding above it. Now, here's a few ways I can understand the chart, and regardless of which one of this pathways I'm going to show you plays out, it does not matter. Both pathways, both uh, possibilities are either way, in my opinion, leading to 128,000. So before we jump into tomorrow, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to make sense of this, right? So far, we're still in a downtrend, right? Ever since we made a new all-time high um, at 123,000, we've been downtrending since then, right? So there's no reason to be overhyped or FOMO'd or just overly optimistic short term when we don't have bullish confirmation just yet. Now, it's absolutely possible that the price could have bottomed, but here's how I'm keeping realistic expectations and not getting ahead of myself, at least, right? So far, we finally did. And regardless, I kept saying in previous videos, red area is accumulation. This is just an overlapping support area to show, that there is high likelihood the price will fill the blue, and it did. But as of right now, besides accumulating, I believe anything below 115K, in my own opinion, is a really good value for Bitcoin, at least with the expectation that the bull market is still alive. And I explained why in previous videos, and I'll do again later this week. I'll explain why. But 128K in sight so far, right? We're still in a bull market. We don't have bear market confirmation, or at least a reasonable expectation to be in one. So as of right now, here is how I am, keeping an eye on the chart. Now, we still have some short-term upside momentum. The RSI has not maxed out to the upside just yet, but we are using, we can use support as resistance in the future. The price is struggling to break out of the 0.35 at 114.5K. We have a few wicks over it, but it's not holding above it. Regardless, if we continue to see this uptrend momentum, because in the short term, we still have a reasonable ascending support that's being respected, and the 120 moving average is up here, so we still have more room to potentially hit the 120 moving average. And if you guys been watching for a while, you know that in my opinion, I tend to see the Bitcoin price flirt, especially in the 1 hour candles. It flirts a lot with the 120 moving average, which means if we continue to see this short-term momentum as we enter the first actual trading day of the week tomorrow, we can easily see the price still come up, break over the 120 moving average, and then try to find resistance within this retracement area, which is factoring in the overall move down so far. So this is a very important resistance area to keep a mind on. Now, there's a few ways this can play out. Again, they all lead into the same direction, and it'll make sense in Mara as well in a moment. But as of right now, the first thing that can happen is we still hold within the accumulation support area, right? Because we haven't broken down to the 0.5 at 110.7K. We haven't hit that. And the blue support area overlapping is also showing that there is enough room to, dance around 110K to, hit that 0.5, break it, and then try to find support in the discounted portion until we go higher. So we can either see that happen now. We can just see this can easily just be a bullish correction within a downtrend. Like if you guys remember back here, like we were moving down, and then we had a really nice push up into the red resistance, just an overall retracement area. And then we found weakness in the price and ended up dropping even further, deeper into the next support area, which was highly expected because the overall view was for this one to be filled. But as we came down into this area, broke below the 0.5, we ended up rallying, and it looked like we were going to continue to go up higher, but then it had an overall retracement, which is just like this one, but this one was for, at the time, this move down, and this one's factoring in the whole move down. We went into resistance. We didn't just do that, but we broke over the 120 moving average. And then from there, we held it for a little bit before we came down lower and finally filled the overall retracement area, which was something I was stressing quite a bit, that I wouldn't be surprised if it fills. So we're in here. This is the next overall retracement for resistance. So we can go over the 120 moving average, just like we did back here, hold within this area for a little bit, and then come down lower into the 110K area to break below the 0.5 retracement, and then, have a much more attractive buying opportunity. Regardless, we do have 3 dips, all lower than the previous, and we're in this area. So right now, in my opinion, is a great time to accumulate. It's as simple as that. But if we're talking about short-term price action, well, if you draw a retracement from this consolidation area to down, we're in resistance, overlapping with the 114.5K area, which means we can easily continue to drop from here. This is absolutely, this is fine, because we're still in a downtrend, and we can fill this area more, and it'll be a lot more attractive, and confidence will be a lot higher if we can hit that 110K area. But regardless, we're in it, and I accumulated early because I was expecting this to happen during market closed hours. So now, basically, without repeating myself, we came down. We can either go up into resistance, have one more low to break the 0.5, and then go up higher. Somewhere below the 0.5, we'll find support, and then go up higher. That's what I'm looking at least at the moment. It's very possible we can hit that blue area as resistance, just because, the RSI has not maxed itself out yet, and we haven't closed the gap on the 120 moving average. Now, in order to invalidate, or at least to confirm that the low is in my opinion, what I'm looking for is, one second. So there's 2 ways this can play out. Either, and I'm going to actually show you guys something within this price move. Small fluctuations creating small picture wave counts. As you can see, just with this information we have so far, it shows that the price can easily go into this blue area. So it's very possible. So with that being said, there's 2 ways this can play out, and how it can allow us to either confirm that the low is in or go lower. So as of right now, we are moving higher. We broke this previous swing high. So we either come down, hold around 113K, very tight area, not too much playroom. This is super, just trying to confirm a small picture retracement to allow the price to come down into here and go up into this area, and then this area will finally be filled, and we can have one more low. Or if we're looking for potential continuation of a bullish rally, it's as simple as the price either coming down into support, go up from the yellow support, or we continue to go from here into this area. Regardless, What I'm looking for is the overall retrace. So let's just say the price goes up to 117.5k, right? Let's just say it does. What I'm looking for is a retracement down into this estimated retracement support area, which would actually be super attractive because it's going to be exactly at the top of the 0.5, the 0.35 retracement at 114.5 point, 0.5k. And then from there, we hold support, we go up, and we break the previous swing high. And then from there, we're up to 128k. So these are a lot of different ways to understand either, the one more low possibility or us going up higher. But the thing is, none of this really matters too much because regardless of rather the price goes up from here, I already accumulated the minimum I want to have into BitU, that $70,000 I invested into BitU. I showed you guys on a previous video. I'm invested and we're in overall support. Regardless if we come down and we hold this area, it doesn't matter. I may add more. I may bring it up to like 80,000, maybe even 90,000, or even 100,000 invested into BitU. I like this area, so the longer we stay in this area, the more I would potentially accumulate, especially if we break the swing low and hold around the 0.5 at 110k. But I'm already minimum invested that I want to have. So regardless, if we have a bullish confirmation and we start pumping up higher, I'm good. The position is there. So it's as simple as that. There's no reason for me to like overthink this or anything like that. We're in a downtrend. We have resistance to keep an eye on. If we just don't hit resistance, we have that one more low, then at that point, it will be like a no-brainer buying opportunity in my opinion. But there's a few ways each pathway can play out, but regardless, they all end up leading to the next 128k area I'm paying attention to. So now with Mara, similar with Mara, I kept stressing this accumulation area because both macro conditions, economic conditions, it can be even a macro like investor mood and emotions in the market. There's a lot of fear and there's a lot of optimism, and it's very similar to this time right here, right, where I kept showing these accumulation areas, which in my opinion it's a great time to buy, and then I give you guys a sell area. Either it's an extension or it's either a value gap that I represent usually with these elongated like rectangles. So we had two opportunities to accumulate in this higher low opportunity that I had drawn for you guys ahead of time. And then this one that I also draw ahead of time, right? So we had a buying opportunity, area to add more before we go into the sell point, take profit area, and then we got it, right? So a really good trade there. I know a lot of you took advantage of that, and congrats, and as well as these other ones. So the same thing here. I had this support accumulation area, very attractive. The price came into it, but we never hit the ascending support line, and well, we just started going up higher. But then I said, well, usually this early, I would like to see the 0.5 being tested. We ended up going up higher. We maxed out the RSI to the upside before the swing high got hit. So it was very likely that we will test the 0.5. We ended up doing that, and then from there, we draw the ascending support line, and we had a good area to keep an eye on. Now, on top of that, for the sell point, to take profit, and this is going to make sense on why I'm explaining this ahead of time. It's going to lay out the process for this next move, in my opinion. But from here, we finally hit the 0.5. We were able to respect that support line, not break below it. But regardless, the price starts going up higher. Now, we briefly broke into the sell area, so it's a good idea to start shaving positions. I know some of you did, and congrats. A lot of you have been killing it with Mara. Super cool to see like these structures actually make sense, right? So we broke into it briefly, and I said like, we still have all this room to maximize this area. It's still very much possible. We were keeping track of this smaller picture sending support with these small, super tiny swing lows. The price ended up respecting it, and well, at that point, it just coming down, if I had a retracement drawn right here, it wouldn't even fill the 0.5. And at that point, the RSI was already in discount. It was an extreme discount, but it was. And well, we finally had this area maxed out. We maxed it out, and then I kept saying like, it's like there's no reason to be overly optimistic or FOMO or hyped up because we filled this area. We're very much oversold now in the short term. Maybe a good idea to take profit. And then I gave you guys this retracement area in red, and I kept stressing this area is super important because it's an overall retracement. It will allow the price to really reset itself. And not just that, I kept saying that Bitcoin is also looking like it wants to retrace. So any small fear in Bitcoin can easily amplify in Mara. So then that's what I said. I mean, there's videos on it. If you just look at what time these candles were created, you just timestamp it, I guess. But basically, we came down. We were holding up here a little bit. The RSI was discounted. And I kept saying like it doesn't matter. Even if we go up higher, I don't expect the price to break over this area, and we'll probably have like another quick dip back into accumulation. Thankfully, we had that dip earlier instead of waiting for like a bullish fake out or just a higher low. I mean, a lower high to be created. We don't have to wait for that. It just happened. We finally broke the 0.5. So right now, like Mara, in my opinion, is super, super attractive. Especially the most amazing part of it, at least in my opinion, is that Mara didn't just break the 0.5 on the retracement. It's holding the ascending support line. While still discounted in the RSI. So we're in a really, really good value opportunity to accumulate, in my opinion. And not just that, at the same time, Bitcoin has, come down and, it filled in the overall support area. We can still see the support area get maxed out a little bit more. It'll be really nice to see the price enter the 110K area. But we did fill it, so we're just keeping a track on smaller picture retracement to try to find support to see if we're going to go into the overall resistance area. And then from here, we have a bigger retracement support area to keep an eye on for an overall higher low that will push us higher. If not, we just come down, hit that 0.5 retracement, finally hit the 110K area and go up higher. Regardless, I'm prepared for both pathways. Now, in the short term, right? Like, here's how this kind of plays out. So it's a really good value opportunity. But right now, if we keep an eye on Mara's potential resistance, right? It overlapping a little bit with the imbalance value area. So what this means is that if Bitcoin in the short term, and it could just influence, it can be a lot of like macro stuff influencing the price. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mara pumps alongside Bitcoin, although I said in many videos, Mara does not 100% correlate Bitcoin or follow it. But if Bitcoin goes up higher and it starts flirting around that like roughly 117.5K area, an overall, retracement for resistance potentially, this can allow Mara to rally up into this area, which would be the equivalent of that blue resistance area in Bitcoin. And then we can have a second test of the accumulation area before it goes up higher. Now, what this will do is that this can easily be, it doesn't matter too much. There's a lot of like value stuff involved. I'm not going to get into it too much because it will make this video super long. But if Bitcoin goes up, we can see Mara go into that retracement area, right? The resistance retracement area. Now, at that point, when we go up, and I showed you guys this a moment ago, I believe, but if we go up into that area and then we have a new retracement support area to try to see if we can hold bullish momentum and go up higher, regardless if we hold this area or even fall back into support once again for that potential one more low to reach the 0.5 before we start going up to 128K, what that can look like is this. Either we go up into that Bitcoin retracement with Mara, so around $18, and then from there, same thing. There's no reason to overcomplicate it. Let's just say we go up to $18, then we have a support area to look at. It will be a higher low within this area, and that'll be Bitcoin holding that higher low. Bitcoin goes up, breaks previous swing high, hits the 128K price target, and then at that point we can see if Mara can finally break the 20 break back into 20, and then it'll be into our this will be the equivalent, in my opinion. So this take profit area from accumulation to take profit. This area, in my opinion, is the equivalent of Bitcoin not just hitting 128, but potentially going up to like 130 and above it, like 135 potentially. But basically, just above that 128k area, this will be the equivalent, and that's only if macro there's a lot of macro hype. It can either be tariff news, it can be investors realizing that the jobs reports can put even more pressure on the Fed to cut rates. It can be anything optimistic for growth assets. The 128k and above area, it's simply, this is my representation of it with Mara. So going up into the 20s, and then we can easily go to like 21 to 22, and even break 23 for a little bit before we have another overall retracement. At that point, I'm looking for the overall ascending support right here to hold, and then we'll keep an eye on how healthy that is. But it's as simple as that. And if Bitcoin decides to have that one more low in the chart, so we can really break that 0.5, it will just allow Mara to trade below 16 once again. It will just be a second opportunity to accumulate at in my opinion, a good value area before we go up into this area. So it's either this hold the support retracement I showed you guys a moment ago, and we go up into take profit, or we go up here, we just try to reach the bottom of the support if Bitcoin decides to hit the 0.5, and then we go up. See, so both areas lead to the same direction, just one of them is a little bit faster than the other to go up into that take profit area, but both pathways lead to it. So it's the same thing. Either way, right now, I mean, Mara is a really, really good deal. I mean, even if you want to sell early here in case we have a rejection in the retracement, that's absolutely fine in my opinion, like makes sense. But the idea is that we're in a really good value area, and the overall take profit area is up here. Just my opinion. There's two ways of getting up here, but they both lead the same way. And then same thing with Bitcoin, right? The idea is that we're going up to 128k. There's two pathways of getting there, and it's a simple, again, either we go here, hold the retracement I had earlier and go all the way up to 128k, or and this will actually be a little bit more ideal in my opinion, and it will give everyone maybe an opportunity to accumulate, the ones that believe in the that the bull market is still alive. But we can either see this happen, we come down, break the 0.5, find support somewhere like around 108k potentially. It would just break the 0.5, one more low, break the 0.5, and then from there, boom, we go up to 128k. So both pathways on Bitcoin and Mara lead into the same direction. But as we progress forward, I will, narrow them down and give my opinions a little bit more without so many different pathways. But hopefully this made sense. We finally reached that support area that I've been talking about. It happened. So now we're just keeping an eye to see how it continues to evolve. It's going to highly depend on the macro condition with how investors feel with recent data and going forward. But if pressure for the Fed to build up and expectations, people start becoming hopeful again that we'll get potentially a September rate cut, potentially. If that hype begins to build up, then, I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin potentially makes a new all-time high. Like, we're just over, it's probably going to be like a little over a month away. I need to check the economic calendar, but yeah, we have plenty of time for both pathways to play out, but it's all about knowing where there's good value. Both Mara and Bitcoin are in pretty good value, but they could get better soon. But I think in the short term, we have, at least as of right now, in the short term, we have really good a good chance of still continuing to go up a little bit. But I wouldn't expect this swing high to be broken if we don't have reasonable fluctuations within it. So we can either do this and then that, or we can either do this, just go up straight to it basically and do that, or we can just finally get that 0.5 earlier than not. But like I said, I'm invested. I don't really care what happens. I'm either gonna add more if I get that chance below the 0.5. If not, I have enough invested to be happy with it, and then on forward from there. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on this chart throughout the week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.